Yes, a beautiful Friday morning to you listeners out there. The program you're onto is In the Papers, coming to you from my Power 102.7 FM. It is a program where we preview and review newspaper headlines and news making rounds in the papers for your listening pleasure. My name is Iniluwa Adekoya, and with me this morning, I've got the Herb newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, the Sun newspaper, and the Nation newspaper. Right about now, we will take a short break. When I get back, I'll give you headlines making rounds in the papers. Yes, beginning on the top of the list of our headlines this morning from the Herb newspaper, talking Ondo, free for all in Owo as suspended council chair faces declares resumption. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, Ayidatiwa others shine at Southwest TVET Awards. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, talking 2027, Governor Makinde declares presidential ambition. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, from our Ondo Governor Mimiko joins APC, backs Tinubu's re-election. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, gun to my head, single-term vow, presidency knocks Obi. Yes, now I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper, still talking headlines, and now to Abuja. Abuja Area Council Speaker 8 die in car crash. Yes, still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. Police dismiss officers over alleged kidnapping, robbery, extortion in Rivers. Yes, still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. INEC direct electoral commissioners to monitor party primaries. Yes, still on the pages of the Daily Post newspaper, Nigerian youths will vote me out if I fail. They don't accept excuses, says Tinubu. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Governor Finitri reshuffles Adamawa cabinet, reassigns 2 commissioners. Yes, so now quickly to the Sun Nigerian newspaper. Tinubu secures $600 million port investment, eyes Guinea ties at Africa CEO Forum. Yes, and still on the Sun Nigerian newspaper, that Tinubu running a Ponzi economy, says ADC. Yes, still on the Sun Nigerian newspaper, police extradite wanted suspected cyber fraudster to United States. Yes, and now still talking headlines to the Nation newspaper. INEC begins distribution of non-sensitive materials ahead of June 20 poll in Ekiti. Yes, and finally on the Nation newspaper, prominent academic Samuel Oshoba dies at 92. Yes, and with that, I will take another short break. When I get back, I'll give you more news making rounds in the papers this morning. The program is In the Papers on iPower 102.7 FM. We will be right back. Glad you're still there. The program is In the Papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our news this morning from the Herb newspaper, talking Ondo, free for all in Owo as suspended council chair faces the class resumption. And now to the details. Palpable confusion has engulfed the administration of Owo local government area of Ondo State following the struggle for control of the council by its suspended chairman, Mr. Tokpe Omolayo, and the acting chairman, Mr. Ibrahim Ahmed. Eyewitness who craved anonymity to a newsman that Omolayo arrived at the secretariat in the morning to resume duties after about 6 months of suspension when suspected thugs invaded the premises to stop him from entering the office, resulting in an argument and later a free-for-all. A source added they beat him mercilessly, tore his clothes, and left him almost completely naked. It was an embarrassment. The entire secretariat went into commotion as people ran for safety while the thugs fired shots into the air. Reacting to the incident, the State Police Public Relations Officer Abayomi Jimo, Deputy Superintendent of Police, said the command swiftly deployed personnel in the secretariat to prevent a breakdown of law and order. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, Ondo free for all in Owo as suspended council chair faces the class resumption. Still on the Open newspaper, talking Ayidatiwa. Governor, and now to the details. Ayidatiwa, others shine at Southwest TVET Awards, and now to the details. Governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayidatiwa, has been named Best Governor in support for technical education in Southwest Nigeria. He received the award during a biannual conference and award ceremony organized by the Association of Technical Instructors of Nigeria, ATIN Southwest Zone. The award ceremony held at the Royal Bird Motel, Ijakwa, Akura, brought together key stakeholders, leaders who have contributed significantly to the advancement of technical and vocational education and training (TVET) across the Southwest region. The conference, termed Revitalizing Technical and Vocational Education for Sustainable Development in Nigeria, was chaired by the Executive Director of Corporate Affairs at the NDDC, Port Harcourt, and the Ashiwaju of Akura Kingdom, Ifedayo Sunday Abegunde. In an address, the chairman of the Association Ondo chapter, Comrade Oluwasesan Olawale Oshukoru, commended the governor for his remarkable efforts to advance in the fortunes of technical and vocational education and training in Ondo State. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline Ayidatiwa, others shine as Southwest TVET Awards. Yes, still on the Old newspaper and still in Ondo State Still in Ondo State, former Ondo Governor Mimiko joins APC, backs Tinubu re-election. And now to the details. Former Ondo State Governor Dr. Olusegun Mimiko has officially joined the All Progressive Congress APC at his Ward 7 Ondo West local government area in Ondo City. Mimiko, who had before now resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), was received by the Ward Executive of the party, the local government executive, and the state chairman of the party, as well as party faithfuls from within Ondo City. Addressing the crowd of party faithfuls during the defection, Mimiko said the performance of President Bola Tinubu influenced his decision to join the ruling party. He further stated, and I quote, "There are a lot of good things being done by the President Bola Tinubu-led government, and though much more might still have to be done, I am coming to lend my support to ongoing efforts to keep Nigeria on the path of peace, progress, and genuine development." If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, "Former Ondo Governor Mimiko joins APC, backs Tinubu's re-election." And now moving to Oyo State on the Old newspaper, talking 2027, Governor Makinde declares presidential ambition. And now to the details. Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has officially declared his intention to contest for the Nigerian presidency in the January 2027 general election. Makinde declared this bid while speaking at the mega rally held at Mapo Hall, Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. He said, and I quote, "I, Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, Excellency, announce my candidacy for the position of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria." The declaration came amid a growing political realignment in the state involving factions of the People's Democratic Party ahead of the 2027 general election. The rally gave birth to strategic alliance of the Allied People's Movement (APM) and a faction of the People's Democratic Democratic Party (PDP). With this arrangement, Makinde has abandoned the PDP structures in Oyo State. The governor further declared that he is going to run for president on the platform of the Grand Alliance. Recall that Makinde had earlier fielded his loyalists as candidates from various positions: governorship, Senate, House of Representatives, and State House of Assembly on the platform of APM ahead of the 2027 election. Earlier, Makinde had led the Tanimu Turaki's faction of the PDP in Oyo State to sign a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with the APM as part of strategic alliance for the forthcoming election. Makinde and the national chairman of the APM, Yusuf Dantali, signed the agreement on behalf of both parties. The agreement provides for candidate of the PDP to contest for the governorship, Senate, House of Representatives, and State House of Assembly seats to run on the platform of the APM. The governor called on opposition leaders to unite against what he described as a deliberate effort by the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) to redirect Nigeria to a one-party state, maintaining that Nigeria no longer operates democracy without political landscape and guarantees a level playing ground for opposition parties without the interference of the ruling party. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline 2027 Governor Makinde declares presidential ambition. Yes, still on the Old newspaper, gun to my head, single-term vow, presidency knocks Obi. And now to the details. The presidency has criticized former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, over his pledge to serve only one term if elected president, saying his political history shows inconsistency. Obi has said in a viral clip from an interview scheduled on air that he would not remain in office beyond 4 years, even with a gun to his head. Reacting in a post on X, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, dismissed the premise, insisting that Obi's past political decisions show a pattern of broken loyalty. Ononuga said, and I quote, "If you believe Peter Obi's promise to serve only one term as president, you will believe anything." He said Obi had previously pledged loyalty to the All Progressive Grand Alliance (APGA) while serving as governor of Anambra State, but later defected to the People's Democratic Party (PDP. He further added Peter Obi pledges have always been short-lived. He ultimately abandoned APGA for PDP, and since then he has drifted from one political platform to another, a political rolling stone. Nonuga averred that Obi's political movement over the years show that his promises are unreliable. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, "Gun to my head, single-term vow, presidency knocks Peter Obi." Yes, and now quickly I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper. Nigerian youths will vote me out if I fail. They do not accept excuses, says Tinubu. And now to the details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said the Nigerian youth's population could vote him out of office if he fails to address the country's economic challenges. Tinubu stated this at the African CEO Forum, noting that Nigeria has a very dynamic youth population that is restless and unwilling to accept excuses. He said, and I quote, we have a very dynamic, youthful population, restless and not ready to accept any excuses. As a politician, if I don't prepare them for that, they will vote me out. Tinubu also responded to questions bordering on the economy and investment, including efforts he made to improve local tax administration during his tenure as governor of Lagos State. He said, and I quote, Lagos is the fifth large economy in Africa, and I am very proud of the legacy I left behind there. I am still monitoring it. He further explained that removing bureaucratic bottlenecks would create the right incentives for foreign direct investment in the country. He further stated, and I quote, this year alone, I can beat my chest that Nigeria is attracting close to $20 billion in foreign direct investment. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Nigerian youths will vote me out if I fail. They do not accept excuses, says Tinubu. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper, INEC directs electoral commissioners to monitor party primaries. And now to the details. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has directed resident electoral commissioners across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory to prepare for the monitoring of political party primaries ahead of the 2027 general election. The directive was contained in a letter dated the 11th of May 2026 and signed by the Secretary to the Commission, Rose Oriron Anthony. The letter was titled Notice of Political Party Primaries Ahead of the 2027 General Election. According to the timetable attached to the letter, 19 political parties, including the All Progressive Congress, the People's Democratic Party, the African Democratic Congress, the Labour Party, and the Nigerian Democratic Congress, submitted the schedule of activities to INEC in line with the Electoral Act 2026. In a letter sent to all resident electoral commissioners, INEC said, and I quote, I write to notify all resident electoral commissioners that political party primaries for the nomination of candidates for the presidential, governorship, senatorial, House of Representatives, and state houses of assembly election ahead of the 2027 general elections are scheduled to hold within the period approved by the Commission. The Commission further added, accordingly, you are hereby requested to make all necessary arrangements for the monitoring of the primaries in your respective state and the Federal Capital Territory, in line with the provision of Electoral Act 2026. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 is amended, as well as the Commission regulation and guidelines. INEC also noted that the timetable and schedule submitted by political parties may still be reviewed when necessary. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, INEC directs electoral commissioners to monitor party primaries. Still on the Daily Post newspaper with this headline, Abuja Area Council Speaker 8 die in car crash. And now to the details. A fatal motor accident at the Shida village along the Abuja-Lokoja highway has claimed the lives of the Speaker of Gwagwalada Area Council Legislative Arm, Muhammad Ibrahim Ibra, and his aide Ibrahim Ibra. The aide to the Speaker died on the spot, while the Speaker died in the early hours of Thursday at the Abuja Teaching Hospital, where he was referred after initially receiving treatment at the Legend Hospital in Gwagwalada. A source explained that the victims were involved in a head-on collision accident involving a Mercedes-Benz car and a Sino truck in Sheda village around 3:10 p.m. on Wednesday. It further explained that 3 persons were traveling in a Mercedes-Benz with the Speaker when the crash occurred, saying that the third person is said to be currently receiving medical attention. An official of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, who spoke on condition of anonymity and participated in the rescue operations, confirmed the incident, saying the one victim died on the scene while 2 others, including the Speaker, were taken to the hospital. He stated that the corpse of the deceased was deposited at the Legend Hospital mortuary in Gwagwalada, stressing that the Speaker and his aides were returning to Gwagwalada from Kwali after attending a political meeting when their vehicle collided head-on with the trailer coming from the opposite direction near Sheda village. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Abuja Area Council Speaker 8 die in car crash. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper, NJC sends Omotosho Nwite 10 other judges to Tinubu for appointment as appeal court justices. And now to the details. The National Judicial Council, NJC, has forwarded 12 High Court judges to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointment as justices of the Court of Appeal ahead of the litigations that may arise in the 2027 general election. The recommendation of the judges to the presidency for elevation into the Intermediary Appellate Court branch was made by the NJC at its just concluded 111th meeting, presided over by Chief Justice of Nigeria CJN Justice Kudirat Olatokunbo Motomori. NJC, in a statement by its Deputy Director of Information, Mrs. Kemi Babalola Ogidingbe, said that the Court of Appeal justices, when appointed, would fill the vacancies at the court occasioned by elevation of some to the Supreme Court bench and retirement of others upon attaining retirement age. Prominent among the Federal High Court judges sought to be moved to the Court of Appeal are Justice James Kolawole Omotosho and Emeka Nwite, who in recent times handled high-profile political and criminal matters effectively at the Federal High Court bench. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, NJC sent Omotosho Nwite 10 other judges to Tinubu for appointment as appeal court justice. Yeah, still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. Finitri reshuffles cabinet, appoint leader Lineke as commissioner for information. And now to the details. Governor Amadu Finitri of Adamawa State has announced minor changes to his cabinet, with a newly appointed commissioner, Leader Leneke, adding to Ministry of Information. Two commissioners swapped portfolios as Salih Idris moved to the Ministry of Livestock to the Ministry of Agriculture, while Professor David Jatau took over the Ministry of Livestock from Agriculture. Mohamed Chubado, former Commissioner for Energy Development, is now Commissioner for Health and Human Services. In the interim, the Commissioner for Special Duties, Usman Lamude, will oversee the Ministry of Livestock pending the return of Jatau, who is on sick leave. Finitri Chief Press Secretary Omuwashi Wonoshikao, who announced the cabinet reshuffle recently, said Leader Leneke was asked to take charge of the Ministry of Information and Strategy following the resignation of James Elia, who is seeking nomination to contest for the Demsa House of Assembly seat. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline: Finitri reshuffles cabinet, appoints Leader Leneke as Commissioner of Information. Yes, the program is still in the papers, coming to you from my Power 102.7 FM. The time has come for you to call in for comments and contributions to any of the news read out to you. And the number to call is 0816 552 4699. 0816 552 4699. Yes, you can call in for comments and contributions to any of the news that piques your interest. The number to call, like I said earlier, is 0816 552 4699. 0816 552 4699. Right about now, I will go on a short break. When I get back, I'll give you more news making rounds in the papers this morning. Yes, glad you're still there. The program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. For you that you're just joining us, it is a program where we preview and review newspaper headlines and news making round in the papers for your listening pleasure. And now moving straight into the Sun newspaper with this headline: Tinubu secures $600 million port investment, eyes giddy ties at African CEO Forum. And now to the details. President Bola Tinubu held a series of high-stake bilateral meetings on the sideline of the African CEO Forum, securing fresh investment pledges and an opening door for partnership in infrastructure, mining, and regional diplomacy. A special advisor on media and publications and public communications, Sunday Dare, has revealed. Speaking to newsmen in Kigali, Dare detailed the president's packed schedule, which kicked off with a plenary session featuring speeches from the IFC Managing Director of Bank of Africa (BOA) and the president of Kigali, alongside top finance leaders discussing scaled-up investment in Africa. Our president participated fully, Dare stated. Tinubu's engagement included a key meeting with IFC leadership, focusing on energy, housing, transportation, and infrastructure. He also conferred with APM Terminals, the port development group already operating in Nigeria until 2031. At that meeting, they announced interest in investing another $600 million. Investors in solid minerals, with a decade of operation in Guinea, expressed keen interest in Nigeria through an integrated model spanning infrastructure, mining, and related sectors. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun newspaper with the headline, Tinubu secures $600 million port investment, eyes Guinea ties at Africa's CEO Forum. Yes, still on the Sun Nigerian newspaper, Nigeria to deploy AI anti-drone technology to boost securities as defense minister. And now to the details. Nigeria is set to strengthen its defense architecture with the deployment of artificial intelligence-powered surveillance system and advanced anti-drone technology as part of efforts to modernize the country's military capabilities. The Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, disclosed this during an eye-level visit to Monaco, Spain, where he led a Nigerian delegation to conclude discussions on the multi-domain hybrid intelligence shield (HIS) project. According to Musa, the initiative is designed to enhance border security, protect urban centers, and improve the country's response to emerging security threats. The project is expected to introduce AI-driven surveillance system capable of identifying threats rapidly through smart algorithms, while anti-drone technology will be deployed to intercept and neutralize unmanned aerial threats. The government also plans to establish national and regional command and control centers to improve real-time conditions and response to security incidents across the country. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun Nigerian newspaper with the headline, Nigeria to deploy AI anti-drone technology to boost security as defense minister. Yes, still on the Sun Nigerian newspaper, how Desmond Elliott's role in Obasa's impeachment almost cost me chief of staff job. Gbajabiamila says Gbajabiamila. And I'll choose the details. Femi Gbajabiamila, chief of staff to President Bola Tinubu, says he nearly lost his job due to Desmond Elliott's alleged role in the Lagos State House of Assembly speakership crisis that led to the brief removal and reinstatement of Mudashiru Obasa. He made this disclosure during the All Progressive Congress stakeholders meeting in Lagos, where he detailed how though the political fallout from the episode dragged his name into controversy at the presidency. It said President Tinubu personally raised concerns with him during the crisis and mentioned Lagos lawmaker Desmond Elliott among those allegedly linked to the impeachment move. He further stated, and I quote, "I almost lost my job as chief of staff last year because of Desmond Elliott. He is alive today. You can go and verify him." According to him, Tinubu summoned him to his Abuja's residence at the height of the crisis, where he was briefed on development within the Lagos Assembly. He said he immediately contacted Elliott and urged him to distance himself from any involvement in an impeachment plot. Gbajabiamila said he later escalated the matter again after Elliott allegedly declined to publicly clarify his position. "If it were not that I had the kind of relationship I had with the president, I would not be here today." He also said the Department of State Service, DSS, later contacted him with claims that he was backing Elliott in the crisis, an allegation he denied. Gbajabiamila further accused Elliott of stoking tension within Isulere constituency, alleging that the situation deepened division along religious lines. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun newspaper with the headline, "How Desmond Elliott's role in Obasa's impeachment almost cost me my chief of staff job," says Gbajabiamila. Yes, still on the Sun newspaper, talking debts. Tinubu running a Ponzi economy, says ADC. And now to the details. The African Democratic Congress has said it is alarming that the federal government is making moves to obtain fresh loans of $1.25 billion from the World Bank. The ADC, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, said the government seeking a fresh loan when the country has a high debt profile of about 159.28 trillion naira, indicates that the President Bola Tinubu administration is running a Ponzi economy. It further accused the government of taking new loans to service old debts, while Nigerians are burdened by rising food prices, unemployment, insecurity, business closure, and worsening inflation. The opposition party expressed concerns that the National Assembly, saddled with the oversight of executives, has been approving endless loan requests from President Tinubu without scrutiny. The ADC is equally concerned that the National Assembly, which should serve as checks on executive excesses, has been reduced to mere rubber stamp, approving massive borrowing requests with little resistance of serious public scrutiny, even as debt service continues to consume an increasingly unsustainable portion of the government revenue. The statement by the ADC says, and I quote, "ADC is deeply alarmed by the Tinubu's administration latest move to seek another fresh $1.25 billion World Bank loan, coming barely weeks after National Assembly approved yet another round of external borrowing running into billions of dollars. At this point, Nigerians must ask a simple question: if this government keeps borrowing trillions of naira every few months, why are Nigerians getting poorer, and why is life getting harder for the majority? If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun newspaper with the headline, "Debt Tinubu running a Ponzi economy," says ADC. Yeah, still talking ADC. Atiku Amechi submit ADC presidential nomination form. And now to the details. Former Vice President Abubakar Atiku submitted his presidential nomination and expression of interest form at the National Secretariat of African Democratic Congress ADC in Abuja. Former Minister of Transport Mr. Rotimi Amechi had earlier in the day submitted his own form. The development brings the number of presidential aspirants joining the ADC ticket to 3. The presidential aspirants include Abubakar Muhammad, Ayatuddin, and Amechi were accompanied by their supporters to the ADC National Secretariat. Their presence caused traffic gridlocks in and around the party secretariat on the Ademola Adetokunbo Street, Wuse 2, Abuja. A former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, also submitted his nomination form for Kebbi governorship. The duo of Abubakar and Malami did not, however, grant media interviews or make public speeches before leaving the secretariat. Similarly, the senator representing FCT, Ireti King Ibe, also submitted a form seeking re-election to the Senate. Speaking with newsmen shortly after submitting his form, Amechi urged Nigerians to elect leaders based on merit, competence, and proven performance. The former Rivers governor said Nigeria should assess presidential aspirants based on their public service record and capacity to provide effective leadership. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun newspaper with the headline Atiku Amechi submit ADC presidential nomination forms. Yeah, still taking news from the Sun newspaper. Police extradite wanted suspected cyber fraudster to U.S. And now to the details. The Nigerian police force, through the Interpol National Central Bureau NCB Abuja, has extradited Samuel Ugberisa to the United States of America to face charges bordering on online romance scam, wire fraud, and other related financial crimes. The suspect, also known as Put and Sami, and said that to have been based in South Africa prior to his arrest, was extradited on the 14th of May 2026 following the conclusion of extradition proceedings and coordinated engagement between Nigeria and the United States law enforcement authorities. First Public Relations Officer DCP Anthony Placid said investigations revealed that between 2014 and 2018 the suspect and his accomplices operated a criminal syndicate involved in online romance scams targeting female victims in the United States, particularly within the Eastern District of North Carolina. It said the syndicate reportedly created fake online identities and dating profiles to establish fraudulent emotional relationships with victims before manipulating them into sending large sums of money under false pretense and fabricated emergencies. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun newspaper with the headline Police extradite wanted suspected cyber fraudster to the U.S. Yeah, still taking news from the Sun newspaper. Man, wife, child escape gunman's bullet. And now to the details. An Abia-based businessman Kingsley Njoku, his wife, and their child cheated to death when they miraculously survived a barrage of gunshot fired by gunmen suspected to be kidnappers. Narrating their ordeal, Njoku, a member of John 3:16 ministry in Abia State, said they had attended a service in the ministry, after which they went to a family meeting. Njoku said after the meeting they were driving home in a sports utility vehicle SUV around 8 p.m. when on getting to Obuza Primary School area in Osisioma, 6 young men wearing military camouflage and riding on 3 motorcycles overtook their vehicles and flagged them down. The businessman said the hoodlums approached him on the driver's side and asked him to calm down and allow them to move away with his wife and child, but he refused. He further stated, and I quote, "My refusal to calm down infuriated the gunmen, and they opened fire on 3 of us inside the vehicle, myself, my wife, and our child. My wife became so afraid and was pressuring me to get down, but I refused, telling her that if no member of John 3:16 ministry was kidnapped when Abba was under siege by kidnappers, it is not now that anybody will kidnap me or any members of my family." Njoku said when the gunman who blocked his vehicle came to try his own gun on him, after others failed, he saw a little opportunity and zoomed off in his SUV. He recalled that the incident during the A-Day of kidnapping in Abia was one of the police drivers of former Akwa Ibom State Governor Godswill Akpabio was abducted in Abba and police authorities approached Bro Samuel to assist in using spiritual powers to locate the policeman. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun newspaper with the headline, "Man, wife, child escape, gunman bullet." Yes, and now quickly to the Nation newspaper. Prominent academic Samuel Oshoba dies at 92. And now to the details. The Yusuf Bala Osman Institute has announced the death of its chairman, Samuel Olusegun Oshoba, who passed away at his residence in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, at the age of 92. In a statement by the Institute Director, Nama Pechonak, the organization said it received news with heavy hearts, but with gratitude for a life lived in the service of scholarship and humanity. Oshoba was widely regarded as the distinguished scholar whose work focused on economic history and political economy. According to the Institute, in the late educationist research consistency examined the structures of capitalism and neo-colonialism in Nigeria, with particular attention to pathways for national development and emancipation. Throughout his academic career, he produced numerous books, scholar papers, and newspaper articles that reached audience beyond the academic community. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, "Prominent academic Samuel Oshoba dies at 92. Yes, the program is still in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Right about now, I will take a short break. When I get back, we'll call it a wrap on the program this morning. Yes, and with that, we have come to a wrap on today's edition of In the Papers, a newspaper program review. Until next time, my name is Iniluwa Adekoya. Many thanks for listening, and have a wonderful day today.